In just 34 seconds, the golden age of airship travel was ended by the fireball that engulfed the Hindenburg, killing 35 passengers and crew. Since no other explanation was available, the investigators put forth what seemed like an entirely logical theory. They concluded that hydrogen had leaked, combined with air to form a lethal mix, and was then ignited by a spark from a buildup of static electricity. For the first time since the accident, the unchallenged assumptions about the role of hydrogen are being questioned and subjected to modern forensic techniques. Former NASA hydrogen specialist Addison Bain has been investigating the cause of the disaster, using modern techniques that were not available during the initial inquiry. Though hydrogen is chemically unstable and highly flammable, hydrogen fires are very difficult to see with the naked eye, radiating a cold blue flame. Because it is lighter than air, hydrogen also tends to burn upwards very quickly. Yet the eyewitnesses were remarkably consistent when describing the colors of the fire.
Typically yellow, orange, reddish type flame was observed. And of course, as we all know, hydrogen is basically invisible in daylight.
And Bain noticed another inconsistency when reviewing film footage.
36 persons died in the flaming wreckage of the Proud airship. To this day, the exact cause of the explosion remains a mystery, though static electricity...
The fire was so rapid and it actually engulfed the airship. And that's not characteristic of a straight hydrogen fire, which would burn, upward. Was it being fueled by the hydrogen, or was it being fueled by something else?
To Bain, the speed of the fire and its distinctive orange color were clues that the Hindenburg contained something flammable besides hydrogen. But what most intrigued Bain was the incredible speed with which the ship's outer cover had burned. The Hindenburg's outer cover was a key feature of Zeppelin's technology. Were the chemicals to blame for the fire? The existence of genuine Hindenburg samples proved to be a key breakthrough. It meant that for the first time, Bain could study the chemical makeup of the outer cover and see why it had burned so quickly. He found that the doping mixture contained iron oxide and powdered aluminum. The Hindenburg had been painted in the ingredients for rocket fuel.
I believe the sequence of events first started back here near cell 1 and 2, where there was an electrostatic discharge occurring across the fabric to the frame. That essentially ignited the highly flammable outer covering material, which then burned quite rapidly.
But there was one last twist to come. Deep in the archives of the Zeppelin Museum in Germany, the Hindenburg had one final secret to reveal. Within the museum's archives lay the unpublished records from the German inquiry into the disaster. Scientists working for the Zeppelin Company had secretly conducted their own experiments on the Hindenburg's outer cover. The conclusion they had reached was remarkable. With the right conditions, the cover would catch fire, whether or not the airship was filled with a flammable gas like hydrogen. Zeppelin quietly made a number of design alterations to the Hindenburg successor, the LZ-130. Bronze was added to the doping compound to make it less flammable, and the electrical bonding was improved to reduce the risk of sparks. The Zeppelin Company never revealed the truth about the disaster. The view of hydrogen as a dangerous and explosive gas became the accepted one, much to the frustration of specialists like Addison Bain, who see it as the fuel of the future.
Even when I was involved in writing safety manuals on hydrogen for NASA, invariably the topic of the Hindenburg came up, and it's left a very bad stigma, and the public perception is that hydrogen is very dangerous because of that incident. But I think now that the real story has come out, maybe it will mitigate and dispel that myth.
The Hindenburg disaster would have happened whether or not the ship was filled with hydrogen. As with the Titanic and Space Shuttle Challenger disasters, a vital but overlooked technological flaw had proved fatal. While it is unlikely that airships will once again rule the skies, Bain's work seems to have finally laid to rest the mystery of what happened to the Hindenburg.